Paul Raymond was, a Soho impresario who ran the Raymond Revue Bar, which was sort of the first, if you like, inverted commas, respectable strip joint in the UK, and became one of the most successful businessmen in Britain on account of the fact that he invested in property in Soho, and at one point was the richest man in Britain. His character was interesting to me because clearly he came from a very modest background, but invented a sort of personality for himself, changed his name, and was in some ways a kind of created this fantasy life for himself, and and sort of tapped into a certain desire that a lot of men have, and pandered to that. And he seemed like he was a very colourful, interesting person to play, and also morally ambiguous. And I always think I always like, if I can, playing people who are in some ways ostensibly unlikable, dislikable, and giving them humanity, making them sort of flesh and blood. But how do I go about planning the part? Well, you do a lot of research. I looked at old film of him, old video tapes of him, spoke to his former girlfriend, spoke to his business associates and friends, people who knew him, and read about him. You do sort of research, and you find out about what he was like, and you get sometimes conflicting accounts from different people, and you have to make your mind up what's believable, and maybe they're all true and all correct, and you try to give a sort of a rounded version of that character. But having said that, it's not a documentary, so we're not obliged to. We're not just giving a factual account. Like really, first and foremost, we're trying to make a drama with some hopefully some comedy in there. Well, I mean, working with Michael creates a kind of family. And it's a very secure place to be. And it was everything I expected it to be, having worked with him 4 times now. And each project, I think, has been something I've been proud of. It was exactly as I expected it to be. It makes me think I want to work with him again. I want to do something else with him. I never want to stop working with him, because it's the most exciting work I've done in my life. And it's transformative for a period. It feels like you become, when you work with Michael, you feel like you become something else for a while, and that's a very exciting thing to be able to be part of. He's very unobtrusive with actors and with the situation, so you feel it's very easy for you to feel like you're in the world that he's created. The camera's unobtrusive. Very rarely do you have to hit a mark. Anyone who knows about filming, often part of your brain is preoccupied with technical things as well as the sort of the acting part of it. And in actual fact, with Michael, there's hardly anything technical to worry about at all. You just have to play the truth. Well, Tamsin Egerton plays Fiona Richmond, who was Paul's girlfriend and sort of famous glamour model, come porn star, and she was his sort of glamorous girlfriend. So he had this sort of fantasy life for a while, and Tamsin has this sort of this very kind of otherworldly quality. She's very glamorous, beautiful, fun to be with, and sort of took Paul out of himself. I think it was Paul living the fantasy life with the sort of with the fantasy girl. Anna was great. She played Paul's wife, Jean, and she's from a northern background, from a very similar background to me, which was very good because we had a shorthand with each other and understood each other very quickly. And she was she did the part of Jean was very close, I think, to in some ways to Anna. So I think she enjoyed playing a part that wasn't a million miles away from who she was as a person. So and she really rooted it and grounded it and made it a real contrast with Tamsin's character. Imogen Poots played Debbie, which is a very difficult role to play because it's incredibly demanding in terms of playing someone who is both charismatic, vulnerable, arrogant, yet vivacious, sexual, confused, addicted, and has a slightly unhealthy relationship with her father, as she did. He doted on her, but almost obsessively so, you know. But then she was also the one authentic, really unchanging relationship in his life. So she's a very important character, and Imogen really brought that to life. Well, it both challenged and helped me to act in Soho, because on the one hand you are in the heart of where these events took place. In fact, there's a pub we went to in the filming of it, which was the real pub that Paul used to go in. Some of the restaurants, the real restaurants Paul used to dine in. So it felt very real. You know, the streets that we walked on were the streets that Paul walked along. That lent it real veracity and authenticity, and that felt real. Certainly, when you're also going in the pub, sometimes some of the smaller parts in the film are actually played by the real people themselves as well, which also lent it this authentic quality. Technically, it's difficult because, of course, you know, you've got people. It's very difficult you can't be discreet when you're filming. So you've got paparazzi and stuff, but that's something you learn to deal with. I mean, at least they're interested in the film. You know, if no one was interested, it'd be a much bigger problem.